uh, share ya.
Oh yes, sir. Wait a minute. Apakah sudah bisa terlihat, sir?
Yes.
Oke. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah.
So I'm Nandagita Ramadhani, and today I would like to present the description of my thesis proposal. The title is Students' Perception Toward the Use of Podcasts as a Media to Improve Listening Comprehension. The next is background of study. The distinct processes of interpreting spoken language are referred to listening comprehension. It includes knowing speech sound, understanding the meaning of individual words, and comprehending the syntax of sentences. It is cited from Ahmadi 2016. Listening is one of the basic four skills that students have to master in learning English. If the students wish to learn to speak, they must first learn to comprehend the spoken language that they hear. If the students want to communicate with native speakers, they have to know what is the essential point of the native speakers are saying in real life situation. That's why listening is really important in language learning. So far, we know that English learning method in Indonesia more emphasize on writing and reading skills. It relies on theory only and lack of practice. As a result, English becomes one of subjects that contribute to low score of achievement in the national examination or UN, especially for senior high school, vocational school, and Islamic boarding school. It is cited from the data of Ministry of Education and Culture in 2017. In the national examination itself, there are only 3 out of 4 English competence that are tested. There is listening, reading, and writing. The most difficult competence that makes students tend to be confused and hesitant about choosing answer is in listening section. Therefore, we need to find a media that can improve students' listening skills. And one of the most influencing media that is used in language learning is audio media. Said from Darwis 2016, podcast is one of the media that can fulfill students' need to improve their listening comprehension. The next is problem of study. From the several audio media that can be used to support the teaching learning process, podcasts can be considered as a suitable medium. Although currently podcasts are still applied at higher level of education such as in university, it is rare for high school students to use podcasts to practice their listening skills. Therefore, the researcher provide these two research questions in the study. The first is, what are students' perception about using podcasts as a medium to improve English listening skills? And the second is, what is the problems that students find when accessing podcasts? The next is objective of the study. The aim of this study is to identify the students' perception toward the use of podcasts as a media to improve listening skills and the problems that students find when accessing podcasts. This research provides key insight that can enable students to consider and evaluate the use of podcasts in learning process. The next is scope and limitation of study. This study will cover high school students' perceptions about the usefulness of podcasts and also the problem they encounter when accessing it. Moreover, The researcher will focus on how podcasts contribute to improving students' listening comprehension, and there will be no explanation on how podcasts improving other components of English skills. The next is literature review. In the literature review, there are three explanations about definition of podcast, the use of podcast in learning English, and perception toward podcasts. The next is research method. The first is the research design. The study employs a case study design of qualitative research. This allows for greater consistency in terms of concepts and values that can be combined. The use of podcasts to improve English listening skills in Indonesian EFL students is the issue addressed in this study. In addition, the problem students had with podcasts will be explored in order to get a more in-depth look. The next is participant of the study. The participant of the study is the students from the third grade of SMA Islam Malang in the academic year 2021/2022 with a total 32 students. Next is the instruments of research. The research instruments of the study are observation, questionnaires, and interview. And then the data collection. In the study, the researcher collects the data using triangulation. The researcher combines three data collection techniques, namely observation, questionnaire, and interview. Observation aims to get an overview of what kind of media that the teacher usually use when teaching English. And the next is the researcher give open-ended questionnaires to students to find out their understanding of what podcast is and how they perceive it to improve their listening comprehension. And the last is the researcher will conduct semi-structured interview to gain more information about students' experience using podcasts and what problems they find when access podcasts. The next is data analysis. There are three steps of data analysis. The first is data reduction. At this stage, the researcher will sorting, abstracting, and transforming the raw data. In processing the raw data, first of all, the researcher determined the research instrument and the data collection method. Next, the researcher organized first step of data collection method, namely by observing English teaching and learning process in SMA Islam Malang. After that, the researcher will give open-ended questionnaire for all the students. Then the researcher will pick 5 students randomly to be interviewed and the researcher will record the interview session. Next, the researcher will analyze the research finding with simple statistic of qualitative research design. The next is data display. After collected and transcript the data, the researcher interpreting the research finding by answering the research questions. The researcher will identify students' perception toward the use of podcasts. After that, the researcher will display the data result with narrative display and presented the excerpt of interview between the researcher and students. And the last step of data analysis is conclusion drawing. The researcher will present the research finding, and in this step, the researcher obtains information to answer the research question and then make the conclusion of research result. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, Nanda, thank you. Can you
Yes, sir.
listen my voice?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, I'd like to proceed you to discuss what have you written, yeah, as your proposal. First, I'd like to show your proposal draft. Okay, is it yours?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you see it clear? Can you see
Yes.
it clear? Okay, yeah. So my first question, you have to notice my question first, yeah, because while I'm noticing your research designed by using qualitative research, when while your title reflect, yeah, quantitative research. Okay, I'd like to show you whether it is quantitative or it is quantitative. Okay, student perception, right?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
when you are going to report the student perception, of course, you are going to use the instrument, yeah, which is suitable for test student perception or to know student perceptions, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so in this case, yeah, you are going to have your students a perception of the following scale. For example, good, poor, bad, very good. Is it right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Then the next, yeah, how can you, what are you going to know, yeah, about the students' perception, yeah, the students, you are going to know the student perception to use podcasts, all right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you would like to know, yeah, whether the student like podcasts or dislike podcasts and so on and so on. Is it right?
Uh, Actually, I will study about student perception about how is how podcast can be used as a media to improve their listening comprehension.
Okay, so you are going to know the student perception on using podcasts as a media,
Oh,
right?
yes, sir.
Okay, so that's all. If it is edit qualitative. When you add, yeah, to improve student listening comprehension, it has no close relationship between the student perception and the use of podcasts. When you are going to analyze, yeah, the improvement of student listening comprehension because of podcast usage, yeah, podcast here as a treatment being used by the researcher, being used by the teacher to develop students listening comprehension. But this is the only student perception. Student perception has no treatment or action anymore like this. Okay, so my next question is, if you can answer my question first, my second question, how can you correlate, yeah, student perception, yeah, have a close relationship with the students' improvement of listening comprehension? It is
They
difficult to answer. Why? Because you are going to analyze by the qualitative. And in this case, you can know. You have difficulty to know whether the student have improvement of listening comprehension or not here. Okay, so if you are still concerned to use student perception, only student perception on the use of podcasts as a media, stop. If it is qualitative, you don't talk about the improvement of student listening comprehension anymore like this, yeah, because by, yeah, performing student perception, yeah, it cannot use to improve student listening comprehension,
yes,
yeah.
sir.
It may improve student listening comprehension if you are going to use podcast as a treatment. For example, like the use of podcast to develop or to improve student listening comprehension. In this case, yeah, the researcher will perform to use podcast as a media, as a treatment here. So in this case, yeah, the researchers is going to distinguish, yeah, between the students who are given podcasts and those who are not given
But
podcasts into groups, yeah, into group, yeah, with two different treatments like this, yeah. If you are still concerned to the qualitative research, yeah, student perception on the use of podcast as a media,
media
yeah, in learning
listening.
English or in
Okay.
understanding listening comprehension.
So
That
I have
stop like this.
oh yeah. So I have to get rid the word improve students listening
Yeah,
comprehension
so
if I
without
want.
using
Yes.
improv here because you have no
Oh
treatment
yes.
or action anymore. Okay?
Oh, okay.
Understand what
Thank
I
you.
mean?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, yeah. So please recheck and reconcile to your advisors, yeah, about
Yes, sir.
this. That my strictly suggestions. Okay, yeah. Next, the background here. Okay, yeah. The statement I color here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, if the student wish to learn, yeah, to speak, they must first learn to translate. Who did say it?
So
Who
I
did
forget.
say it?
Yeah, I
You
forget to
yourself,
add the
you
citation.
yourself have written.
Pardon me, sir.
You yourself have written it.
That's from the citation actually, and I
Okay, if
forget to
you
put it.
adapt that from citation, please cite the citation. Write the source. What have you written? Yeah. What is the source? Yeah. This is the climb, right? Yeah. If the student wish to learn to speak, they must. Sorry, an uncomfortable connection.
Yes, sir.
Okay, if the student wish to learn to speak, they must first learn to comprehend the spoken language that they hear. This is a climb, right?
Yes.
This is a climb statement, all right? So if you have a climb statement with providing the evidence anymore, yeah, don't write by using while or argument. The argument without providing the evidence, it can be called wild argument. The argument without providing evidence. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So if you understand, thank you. Yeah. Well, so what should you write in the background of the study at the first paragraph? You write the main problems like this. What is the main problem that are you going to face? Until you need, it is necessary to be studied. What is the most important problems?
I think the high school students
Okay,
just
okay. Do you think that student perception on the use of podcast is important here? It is important,
yes, sir.
or it is yes, it is important.
Pardon me, sir.
Okay,
The
student
connection is
perception on the
unstable.
use of podcast is important.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So if it is important, why it is important? Why it is
Because
important?
because if the student have positive perceptions toward podcast, they can use podcast as a learning media.
Okay, I think you may state, yeah, by reading repeatedly previous studies. All right. So
Oh yes.
until this, yeah, you have, yeah, I think a core of point actually. Uh, what this podcast is important or not like this. Oh, podcast is important. Why? Because this is kind of the news media. Yeah. Who said it? Yeah. Is there any previous studies talking about the podcast as the media? Oh yes, like please state it here to support your, yeah, to support your statement. Yeah, that student perception on the use of podcasts here. Yeah, how does the student think about podcasts like this? So this is the most important thing in the first point of your paragraph. Okay, understand what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. And then when you write the paragraph, yeah, and it is a claim statement, yeah, please give or provide
Citation.
the The evidence. Okay, yeah. The evidence you may say the preliminary study based on the observation or based on the preliminary study, yeah, that the researcher done, for example, and the researcher has done, yeah, it can be concluded that blank, 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 like this. Yeah, understand? Yeah, to write about the
Yes.
background of the study. And then
Mm.
the last, yeah, before you state the aim of your study, please write the novelty of your research. Okay, yeah, okay, before writing the novelty of your research, yeah, please notice the following, sorry, the following questions. The first is, what are the student perception, yeah, about the using podcast? You are going to ask, or you are asking, what are, why, yeah, it's not preceded by how
Oh,
are the student perception, why do you use what?
because I think it's uh,
Hmm?
tercampur dengan bahasa Indonesia gitu, sir. Jadi kayak
Yeah, I think will be more suitable if you use how, yeah?
oh ya.
How are the student perception on the use of?
On
Okay, without adding or without the giving edit statement improve
improve. Ya.
because you have no treatment anymore like this. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. So if you add your question, yeah, you may, yeah, give the statement of your problem, yeah, statement of problem here by the reason, yeah, the reason why, yeah, this is how the perception, yeah, and close instrument, yeah, have the student to answer or to fill out your a blank instrument, and then here you may, yeah, interview them, yeah, you may interview with them, yeah. Why are you interested, yeah, the reason of using, yeah, so
Oh,
this is
yes.
the reason of
Podcast.
using podcasts like this. I think that is okay, yeah, if you are going to study
Qualitative.
qualitatively. Okay, understand what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, yeah, for your understanding. Then literature and perception on the use of podcast, yeah, as a media. Do you think podcast is a kind of media, learning media or teaching media?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Do you think podcast is a kind of media type of? Yes. Okay. If you say that podcast is a kind of, or it is categorized in a media as a media, yeah, please give the reason. Please give your state of the art. And podcast is a kind of media in your explanation here. It is not only definition of podcast, yeah, type of
Oh,
podcast, yeah, how podcast is implemented in learning, for example, and why podcast is a media like this. So the reader will understand easily how to understand what have you written. That podcast is a media.
media.
Okay, that podcast is as a media like this. Understand what I think it
Yes.
is more complete than before. Yeah? More complete than before. Okay, that is okay. Yeah. Well, and then research design. Yeah, research design. Yeah, or research method first. Yeah, in qualitative, right?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Before, yeah, we understand about. Okay, what's the novelty of your research? What is the novelty? Is there something new? Was
I think the previous study just explain about the effectiveness and the positive and negative sides of podcast.
okay, effectiveness, negative and a positive side with this effect of podcast. Now,
Yes.
okay, it was it was conducted by the previous studies quantitatively, right?
Yes.
Quantitatively, right? And
Quantitative.
then you are going to analyze
Qualitative.
qualitatively, all right?
Yes.
Yeah. So What is the newest one?
The newest one is the students' perception in today's today's era.
Well, okay. Why do you say student perception on the use of podcasts is a kind of the newest point in this era?
Because I think podcast is still rare to
Mm-hmm.
use to used by high school students,
Mm-hmm.
and some of them, from my understanding, use the media like YouTube, songs to learning English. And I
Okay. Well, okay. Nick, I know what you have you talk. Did you write what have you talked to me just now? No, yeah, I can't find. Please write the novelty of your research, such as what have you paragraph before stating objective of your study.
so it is
So this
on.
is the paragraph number two. Yeah, the last paragraph number two before the last paragraph. All right, this is the novelty. So what should you write on the novelty? Yeah, such as what have you talked? What have you spoken to me? Understand what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what have you talked? What have you spoken to me? Write on your novel. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Hello, Nanda. Understand what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Thank you. Yeah. Sorry, I'm on unstable connection just
Yes.
now. Yeah. Well, and then research design. Your research design is, yeah, you may, the participant, how many you state the participant, yeah, and it is not necessary to write or to state the sample, because this is the qualitative. You may write the subject of the study, yeah. The choosing or the sampling is not important like this, yeah, but the important how much. Okay, understand?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Understand what I mean? So, data collection. Yeah. What do you mean by data collection in qualitative research?
It is the instrument that we use to collect the data and the procedure.
Yeah, I think the instrument which is used by a researcher for collecting the data. So, what is the most important, or what is the most suitable instrument are going to use by the researchers? It perhaps interview, it perhaps
Right.
a questionnaire like this, and documentation if it is necessary. Yeah. Right. So, please state the procedures of collecting the data. Yeah? It is not only statement of collecting the data, but how can you do? How can you perform? How are you going to perform to collect the data? Yeah. You may explain the procedures of collecting the data there. Understand?
Right. Yes, sir.
Karena
Hello,
mobil
Nanda?
habis
Understand?
itu
Yeah.
bawa
Okay. How
kurungan
about the data analysis here? Okay.
dan
In the data analysis, you are going to use
naik
oil and
mobil
hydrogen, right?
Pardon me,
habis
sir.
angkat turun gimana aja.
Okay, do you listen, Ananda?
Sorry, I cannot hear your voice because
Now, can you listen my voice?
I think someone is turned their mic on.
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay, can you listen my voice?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Next, continue. Yeah, the data analysis here. Yeah. you, are you going to use the mile and Haberman to analyze your data? So right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So at least we have three type or three
Step.
kinds of data analysis procedures. Yeah. Data collection, data reduction, data display, and conclusion or verifications. Right?
Yes, sir.
This is the theory of mind and Habermas. So my next question here is, how can you reduce your data? Yeah. What kind of procedures are you going to use in data reduction procedures? Yeah. At least you have the procedures of coding, right? The
Yes.
coding, right?
Coding.
So when you are going to use coding here, yeah, please write the procedures of coding, all right? Coding, not
Yes, sir.
all the data, yeah, is filled out or is completed or it is inserted or included in your research to answer the question, but it is the only the data which is suitable with the research question. Understand?
Yes,
So
sir.
you need to reduce the data by
Data.
coding, right?
Yes.
Coding. Yeah.
Coding.
Okay. And then data display, yeah, after coding, and then what kind of the data should you display? Yeah? So the data display usually to display on the chapter finding, right? Understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so and then the conclusion drawing, yeah, or you may verification. So my next question here, yeah, the main characteristic of qualitative research, the researchers is going to use triangulation. Why didn't you include triangulation to verify or to find the validity of the data? The trustworthiness of the unit triangulation, yeah, because this is the main point of the characteristic qualitative triangulation. How can you verify your data whether your data is valid or not? You need triangulation to find the trustworthiness of the data. Understand, Nanda?
Yes. Sir, I have question
Yes.
for the data triangulation.
Mm-hmm.
Is it refers to the step of collecting the data, like the researcher not only used one instrument, but the researcher used such as three, like observation,
Yes,
uh,
this is kind of the meta
combination.
triangulation. Yeah? So
Oh,
you use meta triangulation. It means to collect the data, the researchers not only use a method, but more than one method to clarify or to verify the
oh
data
yes,
to find the trustworthiness. So your data
yes,
triangulation, it is not only the data triangulation, but the method triangulation. Okay, we have at least five type of triangulation: data triangulation or source triangulation, method triangulation, yeah, investigator triangulation, and theoretical triangulations. So you choose method triangulation and the data triangulation. Yeah. If you do not need to investigate the triangulation because you have known the same or similar researchers, yeah, with your research, yeah, is okay. But you are going to use method triangulation. Investigation triangulation, you would like to compare your data between another researchers with the same topic. Understand, yeah? Okay,
and
but if you would like to verify whether your data is valid or not, yeah, you may ask to the expert judgment. Okay, yeah. So I think you do not need expert judgment here. Why? Because yeah, you only verify your data and that you derive from your what is from your school or from I don't know, yeah. This is school or in public place. I don't know here. Yeah, a public place perhaps public place or school here. Yeah, if school, of course, yeah, you specify, yeah, what kind of school and where are you going to study it. Is that clear, Nanda?
I still have one question, sir.
Yeah, okay, please
For
state it.
the method triangulation, where should I put the what it is? The method triangulation.
In research method,
Oh, in research method.
in research method to find the trustworthiness of the data. In the quantitative research, yes, sometimes it is a commonly stated by validity and reliability of the test. But in qualitative, to find the trustworthiness of the data. Yeah? Trustword of the
Okay.
data. Like this. Yeah. It's the same with the validity and reliability in
Quantitative.
quantitative research. Okay. Understand, Anda?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you for your understanding. Is there any questions? No?
No, no, it's enough.
Okay, no, thank you, yeah? Okay,
Thank you
thank
for
you,
your
Linda.
suggestion, sir.
Okay, let's continue to the next. Who will be next? Suchi.
Okay, the next presenter is Gina Novita. Times is yours.
Yes.
Okay, Tina, are you ready, Tina?
Yes, sir.
Hello, Tina, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, ready, thank you. Yeah.
Oke,
Okay, please
Assalamualaikum
share your
warahmatullahi
draft.
wabarakatuh.
Rasulullah.
Waalaikumsalam.
Good afternoon, everyone. I will share the PPT will share by Suci. Please, Suci, because my laptop is error, sir. Okay, thank you. Next, Suci. The title of my proposal is Students' Perception of Using English Song as Media to Improve Listening Skill at First Grade of Junior High School. Next. There are three variables. The first is independent variable using English song, and the dependent variable is to improve listening skill, and the moderator variable is student perception. Next. This is the background of study. Listening is communication skill for human being. It is an important process for daily activity. That is the reason why researchers choose listening skill for this study. According to Van der Grief, listening is a process to match what they hear with what they know. Helgesen stated that listening is not only as a process what people hear, but also how the person relates to their own information. In the school, teachers tend to prioritize reading, writing, and speaking skill. Therefore, listening is considered a difficult skill. Process of listening skill not balanced with other language skill by Adnan. Problem commonly experienced by students in listening are not being able to understand what the speaker is saying, unable to control the speed of the speaker, lack of vocabulary, and misinterpretation by Underwood. There are some media for improved listening skills such as song, movie, cartoon, and so on. Songs are one of the most charming and easy to use as media in a language classroom. Songs are able to change a boring classroom atmosphere into a fun class so that students can improve listening skill easily, said Lo and Filey. Song as a media to improve student listening skill include understanding the meaning of words, phrases, clauses, and sentences. There are many advantages to using song in class with the use of contemporary popular songs which are familiar. The teacher can meet the challenge of the need of youth in the classroom. The most important feature of the song is repetition. Song contain language pattern and also improve listening and pronunciation skill. In addition, songs are usually used as gap fillers and warms up. Next. The expectation is students can improve their listening skill through English song. But the fact is students listen to teach or friends who tell stories, so they feel bored during listening listen. And the solution is use English song as a media to improve listening skill. Next. The problem of statement. Is there any significant difference between using song and not using song as a media in improving listening skill? And the second is, what is the student perception about the use of English song as a media to improve their listening skill? Next. Hypothesis. How there is no significant difference between students who are using song and those who are not using song as a media in improved listening student listening skills. One, there is significant difference between students who using song and those who are not using song as a media in improved listening skill. Next, objective of study. To know the significant difference between students who using song and those who are not using song as media in improved student listening skill. And second is the student had good perception. Students gave positive response because the song make classroom become more conducive, fun, and meaningful. Next. Definition of key term. English song media for language learning. There are many different aspects of language that can be used for teaching materials and recycled through the use of song. Songs are a type of listening activity that has broad potential because songs are an important part of growth and learning. Second, listening is the first communication skill of human being. According to Nation, listening is the most important thing in language learning because listening can help students get correct language pronunciation even though student doesn't understand anything. The perception is a person judgment. Everyone has different perception of or judgment. Jacob et al. Referred to one of the most important elements in effective learning, namely perception. Research design. In this research, the research design, I use a mixed method. The first is quantitative method, doing pre-test and post-test about the use of song. Then the population and sample population is 57 in 7th grade of MTS Kepanjen and sample is 28 class in 7th grade. Selecting participant for collect data qualitative. And then doing interviews on students who have been selected by qualitative method. The data analysis researcher made conclusion of questionnaire result from a range of the student perception from the subject. Interpret based on quantitative and qualitative results that have been collected. Okay. Thank you for my presentation. Have a great day. Sudah, sir.
Well, thank you for presenting this very short presentation if they compare between before. That is okay, I think. But the most important thing you have understand what have you written, okay. But I'd like to ask you whether you understand what have you written or not here by giving some question first, yeah. Okay, this is my first question to you here, yeah. Uh, what is actually your title here, Tina?
Student perception.
Okay, can you perceive can you what I mean, can you imagine by using student perception can develop the student listening comprehension here? How can you state logically?
Pendapat.
Yeah,
Siswa.
how can you know that by keeping student perception can improve student listening comprehension? I think it's illogical here. How can students' perception develop students' listening comprehension? This is the only perception can develop student listening comprehension. Yeah, it's a more different if you are going to give the treatment. Yeah, for instance, like by using English song, yeah, as a treatment. Yeah, perhaps can develop student listening comprehension. Yeah, the performance of English song. Yeah, in English teaching, yeah, can develop students' listening comprehension. But I agree here. Yeah. But if the student perception can develop student listening comprehension, how could be? How can you legalize your statement? Yeah, that your student perception of using English song perception. Yeah, not the using English song, but if using English song, I agree. But this perception of using. Perception on the use of English song. I think they cannot perform or it cannot develop or improve student listening comprehension anymore like this. Yeah. So please revise your title into not the perception, yeah, but the perception you are going to find the correlation between the student perception of using English song and students listening comprehension. Okay, if the correlation your research statement state not the different, but is there any correlation? Okay, you are going to find is there any correlation between high student perception or a good student perception on English song have a difference between their listening comprehension, yeah, or on the other hand, like this. But I think logically statement, sorry, logic statement like this. Understand what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So which one will you choose? Are you going to find the relationship or find the differences between the students who are using English song and those who are using English song? Which one?
Mhm. The differences.
Okay, if
Stud-
they're different, so you change your title here, yeah, is the use, the use of English song is a media to improve listening comprehension, or the effectiveness of using English song as a media, yeah, in improving listening comprehension, like this, yeah, at blank like this. Understand what I mean?
yes, sir.
Okay, if you agree, you state the effectiveness of using English song in developing student listening comprehension. Please start from this, yeah, in this dependent variable. Your dependent variable is listening comprehension. So you don't write first by the definition of English, or it is a very common statement, of English as please start from listening
Listening.
comprehension.
Yeah.
My next question here, yeah, if you start listening comparison, yeah, in your first writing in the first paragraph of your draft of your proposal, my question is why listening comprehension is important to be developed, important to be improved. Why?
Because listening is uh, communication skill for human being.
How can you take logically or logic statement? It listening is a communication. Listening not communication. Listening is listening. Student listening is how can the student catch, yeah, to listen attentively like this. Not communication. Listening is listening. It's a very different listening with a communication. Okay. Do you think listening comprehension is important?
Yes, sir.
Why? The question. Why is the listening comprehension important?
Because with listening, uh, because listening is at untuk apa sir? Untuk
Okay, I
ada
think to maximize your time, yeah, or to shorten your time while here, yeah, please start based on the previous study that the listening comprehension is important. Why? Yeah, please find the previous study talking about the importance of listening comprehension. Okay, the importance of listening comprehension. You state in the first paragraph here, you started from reading a lot, yeah, relate to previous study talking about listening comprehension or the importance of listening comprehension of the student. Yeah, in what student level here? You state in what student level? This is junior high school or senior high school or elementary school students like this. Please specify, all right? You
yes, sir.
put in the first paragraph here. You started from your dependent variable. Listening comprehension is important. It was or it is supported by the previous studies, yeah, whose studies support your research. Okay, to find the problem are going to be faced by the student or the teachers, yeah, that the listening comprehension is important to be developed, important to be improved. Okay, understand what I mean? Okay, and then next, yeah, if the student, sorry, if listening comprehension is important, what do you think by the reality, the the real listening comprehension of the student here? Yeah. Do you think the student face the difficulty, yeah, in studying or in understanding listening? Oh yes, sir. Student get difficulty in understanding listening. Yeah, and the teacher get difficulty in teaching listening comprehension here. So the teacher have the alternative or the researcher have the alternative to implement the using English song as the alternative to develop student listening comprehension. You state in the second paragraph, the paragraph number 2 here, to support the statement, to support the statement in the paragraph number 1. Understand what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. And then please, yeah, state the previous study supporting your statement, yeah, that the student get difficulty in facing, yeah, or difficulty to understanding listening comprehension, and the teacher get difficulty, yeah. So you state by keeping some supporting statement by providing the evidence from the previous study, and then before, yeah, before closing your statement in the last paragraph in the background of the study, please write the novelty of your study. Do you know novelty of the study? What's your novelty of your study? What's your novelty of your study?
The novelty is study is previous using qualitative,
Mm-hmm.
but in this study I use mixed method.
Okay, I think it's not the novelty of your study, but you only find the differences between your study and the before, yeah. But in your current study is going to perform, is going to conduct it, yeah. The difference between the student who are using English song, yeah, and those who are not using English song, and you are going to compare the mean of reading comprehension of the students, right? Of student score, I think, yeah, but it's not the novelty here. But the novelty novelty, yeah, if a previous study reported, yeah, English song, yeah, as the media, as the alternative to teaching English, for example, like this, yeah, it has no specific course, for example, or it has a specific topic, but you, yeah, perhaps you specify the topic, or you're going to develop by using English song, yeah. So what kinds of the competence of listening of the student, yeah, will develop by implementing using English song, yeah. It is kinds of literal listening English song, or inferential, yeah, listening literal listening comprehension, or inferential, yeah, listening comprehension, like this, yeah. But please specify, yeah, it's not only find the differences, yeah, but also how can you distinguish in the characteristic of subject, the characteristic of population or a sample, yeah, that use at the before a previous study and your current study. That the point of your background of the study, to find the novelty. So in this case, you are going to find the cap, empirical cap, like this, yeah, empirical cap. Okay, yeah. So you find the differences between the previous study, yeah, and your current study empirically. Okay, understand what I mean?
Yes.
Okay, so your question on the number one, is there any significant difference between the students who are using song and those who are not using song? But in this case, please specify, yeah? What do you mean by who are not using English song here? Yeah? You have to find the similar method, yeah, of English song. What is the similar method here, yeah? But the method is not very rare, is not very hard different, yeah, but the clues different. Okay, what is the clues different between English song here? Question. So what is your question?
Storytelling by the teacher as media.
This is okay. Is there any significant difference of student listening comprehension between, yeah, given English song and those who are not given English song? Yeah. So what is actually, what are you going to actually compare here by your questions? What are you going to compare by noticing this question? Gimana jawabnya? How can you answer my questions?
Pardon me, sir.
How can you answer your question? What are you going to compare by noticing your question?
Uh,
Okay, can you read your question number one? Please read it.
is is there any
Is there?
significant difference
Huh?
between using song and not
Huh?
using song as a media in improving student listening skill?
Okay, my question is, how are you going to compare? So what are you going to compare here?
Using song and not using song.
Yeah, what are you going to compare? What are you going to compare? You would like to compare the using song and without using song, or are you going to compare students listening comprehension competence?
Student listening comprehension.
Yes, you are going to compare student listening
Comprehension.
comprehension. You do not compare the using song and without using song. It is a treatment. Of course, it is a different, yeah, between English song and without using English song. Okay, it is a treatment. Yeah. So here, if you are going to use the subject here, the subject number one, yeah, is going to be performed by English song, and the subject number two without using English song. The subject number two, yeah, it is called control, yeah, group, and the subject which is a given treatment by the researcher, it is called experimental group. Understand? Yeah, so in this case, yeah, you analyze by using t-test. All right. So what is your t-test? Later we are going to know your t-test. Yeah. Okay. So it is very short. Yeah, it is very short, but you have to complete. Yeah, but you have to complete after noticing from your title. So what is actually your title? What is the newest title? The effectiveness of using English song on students listening comprehension at, okay, please write out, yeah, when you submit your newest work, yeah, please write what we have talked, yeah, all right. Okay, about the, yeah, the hypothesis, yeah, I think you please first question here, yeah, is there and then there is, yeah, from the positive hypothesis, but the negative hypothesis or null hypothesis, you may, there is no significant difference. Understand what I mean? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then please complete it to your literature review. Yeah, it is very short. Yeah, but understanding the various title first, and then you state the literature review by finding the newest sources, yeah, from the journal, yeah, because the journal is the primary sources, yeah. I think you may use 70% of primary sources and 30% from the secondary sources. Secondary sources cannot be can be derived from the research result, yeah, from the thesis, dissertation, and so on, or from the book like this. This is the secondary sources, but the primary sources from the journal, yeah, the research article, yeah, from the journal, yeah, the article which is published on the journal. Okay, yeah. So this is the primary sources. I think will be okay, better if you use a primary sources. Okay, yeah. So what should you write in literature review? Yeah, identify from the dependent variable first. This is talking about the listening. Yeah, what is the listening? How can develop? How can the teacher develop the listening? What kind of listening? How can we test the listening, and so on and so on and so on. Yeah, and then about the English song. Yeah, what kind of English? What is in the English song? Why English song is okay? code, yeah, for developing the listening, please state by providing the evidence from the previous studies. Okay, understand what I mean, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Nina bersama Dina, yeah,
Yeah.
okay? Dina, research design. Your research design is quantitative research design, and in this case is quasi experimental research design. Yeah, quasi experimental research design. Okay, so please find the sources supporting, yeah, your research design. Yeah, perhaps you may read Ari and Donald book in the book. In title of the book is what is introduction to educational research method. Yeah, introduction to educational research method. Okay, if I think I have distributed, I have shared about the book at the previous study when you studied about introduction to educational research. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you may ask to Suchi if you have no. Okay, yeah. Well, about the okay, research design, yeah. What should you write in research methodology, research design, and then population and sample, yeah, population and sample, yeah. How many students which are included in your research, yeah. This is the sampling here, and if you include or if you select, yeah, or if you choose the selected the student or include in your study here, how many student, yeah, are you going to include, yeah, like this, and how can you choose, right? How can you choose the sample and derive from the population, yeah. Okay, so you have to notice not all the student have, yeah, not all the student have the right, the right, the opportunity to be chosen or to be selected as the sampling, yeah. Okay, because you are in quasi experimental research, I strictly suggest you to use a purposive sampling. All right, purposive sampling, right? It is not the random sampling, yeah. Why? But it's a random sampling, I think it is a very typical. Why? Because it has been set setting, yeah. Why it is quasi, yeah? Because you cannot re-administer, reorganize the schedule which was performed by the teacher, but you only follow, yeah, the given schedule like this. You can, what I'm operate the student, yeah, here, but I think it is a settled student, yeah. The student which is settled by the school like this, you cannot change the schedule here, you cannot reschedule there here. Why? Because it has been performed by the teachers upon the schedule. So it is the quasi experimental research. But if it is quasi experimental research, I think it is okay if you are going to use purposive purposive sampling, yeah, that in your sampling. Okay, how about your instrument here, yeah? So before collecting the data, yeah, please write the instrument. What kind of instrument are you going to use? Because are you going to know the student listening comprehension? Yeah. So my next question here: what is the suitable question? What is the suitable test to know the student listening comprehension, Tina? What is the most suitable instrument to know the student listening comprehension? What
By
is?
giving
Yeah,
tests.
listening test, yeah, listening test, yeah, or in this case multiple listening tests like this, yeah. So I think it is very suitable to know listening comprehension of the student, listening test. But if you are going to use listening test as your instrument, how can you create, how can you perform the listening test? How can you design your listening test here, yeah? Please write Yeah, the listening test. How can you write the listening test? How many number, yeah, of the listening test? How can you score? Yeah, and then how can you find the validity and ability of your test, to find the quality of the test that you have to create it, for example, like this. Yeah, that the most important thing that you have to write in instrument. Yeah, after this, yeah, you have to write the procedures of collecting the data. If you use listening test as the instrument to know the student listening comprehension, how can you do it? Yeah. So in this case, you need to write the procedures of writing listening tests. Understand what I mean?
Yes,
Hello,
sir.
Dina, understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Any question? Do you have questions?
Belum, sir.
Okay, good. Well, if you have no question yet like this, I'd like to continue to ask you. Okay, do you need to find to know, yeah, the difficulty, yeah, of your test, the difficulty level of your test?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so you need to write the difficulty level of your test. Okay, the typical level of your test here. Yeah. I think you may reread, yeah, reread, yeah, the assessment of, what is the assessment of language? Do you have the course of the assessment of language, or language testing? Language testing, right? Yeah,
Yes,
it's
sir.
language testing.
Yeah.
Did you get the course of language testing?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. If you got language testing here, please reread here. How can you create? How can you create a good listening test like this? Yeah, please write on this instrument. Yeah, yeah, in instrument validity. Yeah, what kind of validity are you going to use? And then what kind of reliability of the test are you going to use? And what is the item test validity like this is in this, yeah, okay, the item test validity, okay, understand, yeah.
Yes, sir.
The item test validity mean, yeah, you consider, yeah, perhaps not all the item of your test are valid. Okay, let me give some illustration. Perhaps you have 25 questions, and then before performing, before conducting, or before presenting in front of the student, in front of before performing your research, yeah, you have to take the try out first. Okay, try out first. Yeah, try out. In Indonesian is uji coba, right? To find the validity and reliability of the test. Okay, after having three out, you may get only 15 item tests are valid. So if you got 25 item tests and then you get 15 item tests are valid, how many item tests are not valid? 10, all right?
Yes, sir.
10 item tests are not valid. So how can you know that only 10 item tests not valid, yeah, are not valid here from calculating item test validity, yeah, that the that the aim of calculating item test validity. Understand, yeah, Dina, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's a good a proposal. If you do like this, it is a good proposal for bachelor degree. Yeah. Simple proposal, very simple proposal, I think. Yeah, very simple proposal. Yeah, not complex proposal. No, very simple proposal. Right. This is the only t-test. Yeah. Okay, and then data analysis. In quantitative analysis, you do not write like percentage, yeah, but use the test. Okay, yeah, use the test because you are going to compare, yeah, by performing two group here, yeah, the group who are given English song and the group, yeah, are not given English song. In this case, yeah, in your what I'm calling here, what in your data analyze, you use independent sample t test. Yeah, independent sample t test. Yeah, the explanation such as I have explained in meeting 6 or meeting 5. Yeah, please reread. Yeah, in Sparta. I think this is all for my comment, yeah, of your draft proposal, Dina. Yeah, do you have questions?
Belum ada, sir.
No.
No.
Yeah, I think the proposal between the student who realize luring and jarring is a more different. Yeah, it's a more different, but it is okay, I think. Yeah. So which one is better, sir? By luring. Yeah, by luring. So your senior was better than you. Sorry. Yeah, your senior is better than you. Yeah. Okay, but even though a half of jarring and a half of luring, but you your what is it? Your teaching method are on online, yeah, are online. So that's I think difficult to know whether you understand or not. Yeah, like this. Yeah, whether, yeah, because when I have you to activate your camera, yeah, this only a few students to it. Yeah, yeah, so we don't know whether you understand or not. Yeah, but it is okay, I think. Yeah, but the most important thing that you have to submit your work. Yeah, if you have no opportunity to present your draft, yeah, by YouTube. Yeah, by YouTube. Okay. How about Suchi? So do we have still time for continuing our course, or we stop a moment? Suchi,
Yes, sir.
your decision in you. Yeah. Okay, please offer your friend. If your friend are willing to continue, it's okay. But if your friend are not willing, yeah, to continue, we stop a moment. It's okay. But we continue on the next week. But I'm not sure on the next week will take examination or post test. I think, yeah. So we only have two chance, two opportunities to present. Yeah, like this. But in asynchronous method, in asynchronous strategy, is not a problem, yeah, because you do without noticing your time, and it's not banderized by the time. But synchronous, of course, yeah, banderized by the time. Chronos, yeah, we don't need to face like this. Okay, yeah, but yeah, Suji, what do you think about uh, we stop or continue? It's up to you. Yeah.
I think for this day,
Mhm.
just two presenters, sir.
Yeah, it's okay to presenters, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so we stop. Okay. So how about tomorrow? Our time of research, yeah, is going to be used by presentation of proposal, right?
Okay, sir.
Presentation of proposal. Okay. Who present?
Sri Lestari and Huan. Uh,
Okay, one and Sri Lestari will present, yeah,
Huan.
will present tomorrow at 10:20. Yeah, the research quantitative times, right? Because the quantitative research will be asynchronous. Okay, perhaps later I'm going to display the video, yeah, of meeting 13 and 14, yeah, and meeting 16 will be post test. You have to do, yeah, by asynchronous, right? Understand? Is there any questions? Is there any comment? I don't know whether you applied directly English. Very few, not very, but few students are giving comment. Why? Why Suchi as the managers of the classroom here? Yeah. Okay.
You know, ma'am.
Yeah.
No, sir.
Please call it by your attendance. How many students are attending? 15. Yeah. Only
15.
15. Only 15. Yeah. Okay. Please captures. Yeah. Please take a pictures here as your result of the student attending in this course like this. Okay, yeah. So Sri Lestari, is any Sri Lestari? Is there Sri Lestari here?
No,
No,
sir.
no. Okay, so how can you inform to Sri Lestari, yeah, that tomorrow is her turn to present?
For tomorrow in Tuesday, sir. In
Yeah, in
uh
Tuesday.
quantitative.
Yeah, in quantitative time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will confirm.
How how can you confirm her?
I will confirm by WhatsApp, sir.
Okay, are going to call her, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, you are going to call hers. Okay, who next?
Uh, I don't know, sir. Actually, maybe
Then Sri
ada,
Lestari.
mungkin ada yang bisa mengajukan diri gitu.
Okay, please over to your friends now. I'm going to record it.
Hmm, Rizky Putri,
Hello,
are you
Rizky, are you
here?
ready? But if you are going to present tomorrow, you do not need to record on YouTube, Rizky. Which one will you choose? Yeah, recording on the YouTube or present tomorrow?
Record saja, Sir, kalau besok belum siap.
Record, yes. Let only one is okay, yeah, Sri Lestari. That is okay. I think if you have no friend else, yeah, no student else to present.
Belum ada yang berani.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Why are you
Andriati?
afraid? Yeah.
Saya record aja, Sir.
Record. Okay. Yeah, I will try.
Lista Devi maybe, sir.
Huh?
Langsung live semua.
Saya juga belum siap kalau besok.
Only one person lived it, yeah. But just now I look at 15%, now 14. Hmm. It's okay, yeah, one, yeah. Sri Lestari, yeah. Okay, got Sri Lestari. That is okay, I think, yeah. That
Okay, sir.
okay. So I think that's all for the time being, yeah. I hope that you study hard, yeah. Study hard to understand of making proposal, yeah. Understand of making proposal, creating the proposal here, yeah. Suchi, how many time did you consult your proposal to me? Never, yeah.
Hmm,
Only one.
yes, sir. I think
Only one. Consult the title. Okay. Who I supervise? Suchi, and then
yes, sir. And me?
yeah, who I supervise? You and
And Tina,
Dina, and then
Tasa.
okay, yeah. So I think you need to consult, yeah, reconsult what have you written, yeah. Yeah, on daring or luring is up to you, yeah. Yeah. On luring or daring up to you, yeah. If you are going to perform daring, sorry, luring, yeah, please come to campus. Okay. Well, I think that's all. Thank you very much. Yeah, Suci, bisa you close our meeting for the day here? Yeah, and we say goodbye.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you.
Sir.
Thank you ya. Let me leave
Thank you,
it.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Assalamualaikum.
sir.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
wabarakatuh.
wabarakatuh.
Thank you, sir.